Welcome everyone back to our live seminars, our 12th seminar. Hope you guys enjoyed your weekend. I know I did. We had a really good weekend filled with some meetings on our different fronts, but we're excited to be here on a Monday. Mondays are my favorite day. I know a lot of people don't like that, but Mondays for me, start of the new week, have everything go as you plan it, and then you're good to go for the next week. So Mondays are our kickoff days for us as a team. We do have special guest appearance here. He will be available via chat, not live, but Yan, our CTO at PAC Global Holdings LLC, is here to front any questions that you may have directly to him. So again, I appreciate you guys being here. Yan, I appreciate you clearing up some time to be available as well. So it's going to be a fun chat. Maybe we'll get to a full hour, maybe not. Just depends on how the chat's going and if we have a lot of content to go over today. But again, excited to be here. I'll let some people flood in the chat, maybe post some questions if they have some, or read up on other people. So in the meantime, I do want to showcase another jacket, sweater that I got from Koen. Awesome, fits great, super warm, especially where I am now. It's kind of cold, so I really like this jacket. He has a bunch of different designs and stuff. Hello, Jacob. Thank you for being here. And you as well. I just can't pronounce your name. I apologize. So I do see some questions coming in there. But again, I just want to give some more time, let some people jump in and be a part of this. Also, I do want to mention, I will try, but the whole point of us having these live seminars is for questions to be posted here and not in other forums, so that we're not clicking over and trying to like answer other questions live without them popping up here. I mentioned that because I've seen questions be posted on our Discord, which is fine. We'll get to them if we can get to them like we normally do. But don't expect questions if posted like on Twitter or Discord or Telegram to be addressed here live if it's not being brought up here. Well, cool. We got 20 people in here. I do see like a couple of questions, and Yan, the first one's directed at you, so I hope you're ready. First question, again, I can't pronounce your name, so I apologize. But the question is, hi Yan, in this update, will it be possible to run a Masternode in PACapp and receive rewards, the PAC coin rewards and Yan token via PACapp? So is that something that is going to be included in in the next major PACapp update? And I'll repeat it, Yan, just so that if you didn't hear me, I know you'll be typing your replies via chat and I'll read them back. So I'll just give the question again. Hi, Yan, in this update, will it be possible to run a Masternode via PACapp and receive your Masternode rewards and Yan token rewards via PACapp? And to add to that, I see he has another comment right underneath. The ability to launch and manage Masternodes through a smartphone will simplify the process and attract new users. So we did talk about that over one of the last seminars last week, or yeah, it was last week. It's definitely in one of the to-do list plans. I'm just not certain if it's going to be released in this next major PACapp update push. But Yan will have a better reply for that, because it's just one of those things that we agree, like being able to launch a Masternode via PACapp, being able to receive notifications of your rewards, just basically have full control of your interaction on PAC Protocol, being via your cell phone or smartphone or tablet, instead of always needing to use a PC. Obviously, you can do that now, but it is in our plans. So Yan, if you can maybe address that, and I will read off what you say back. Another question I see in the meantime. Again, sorry, I can't pronounce your name. When will you change your Twitter page address from PACcoin Official to PAC Protocol? My answer on that one, first thing is when you change your name, you lose your verification. When you change your handle, I should say. So it just has a different process, and it hasn't really been like a much needed thing to be changing handles. I mean, we've been using that handle for a long time. But maybe it's something that Koen, as our community manager, and maybe he can look into that and see if it's an easy thing to do. But again, we need to make sure. Oh, Yan has replied to Tipster's question. Tipster's question, could you please tell us the progress on NFT minting, please? 0 to 100%, please. And Yan's reply is, as for Yan token NFT progress, I would estimate like around 90% complete. The last 10% is mainly focusing on polishing, which, it goes hand in hand with what we were saying in our past seminars, is that we're in, active testnet. That's like the last push before you cross the checkered finish line. So Yan proofing is what Barry, our lead blockchain developer, calls our current status, is Yan proofing it, which, as Yan mentioned, fixing all the bugs. Yan's good at doing internal testing along with our team. So how will NFT minting work? Very similar to those that have, background knowledge of already minting NFTs on other supportive chains. It's just going to be one of those features. So when all of that documentation comes out and we're able to push the update, like Yan mentioned, we're at 90%. The rest is fixing on the bugs. We'll be releasing full documentation on how to do that. And Caleb, absolutely. Your question: will people be able to store ERC 721 NFTs on yanDNA? The only what I want to get out of that question and target is yanDNA is a storage product. You can host whatever files you want to be in there. So if that's something that you want to have backed up via IPFS, via yanDNA, that's your choice. Yan's reply to yanDNA and its status. I'm trying to find the original question so I can reread it. Paul, thanks, Paul, for the question. He said, can you give a hint on when yanDNA will be out? Is it weeks or months, and when the new website will be live? Yan's statement to this: we're all eager to release yanDNA as soon as possible, which is 100% very true. But we want to get it done right, which is, I know a lot of this stuff might sound repetitive of what I've said, but that just shows that we're all on the same page as a team. We need to focus, as Yan just mentioned, releasing updates to get more features, improving functionality, so that people are satisfied and that we're satisfied, so that when we get to releasing full product, which goes hand in hand with the token layer that's being implemented, that 90% estimation of completion, a lot of that's going to be hand in hand. So when you see that update get pushed to the overall network for majority consensus, you'll start seeing our products take on what needs to take on for Yan token to be available for those updates will be definitely hand in hand. And Yan, if you can, I didn't mean to rhyme, but that's funny. There was a question up above that was specifically about PACapp. I did read it. I'll repost it because maybe you didn't see it or were responding to something else. I know I've already addressed it, but I assume that the people would appreciate your direct reply on this, with the fact that you are, very involved with the PACapp from your creation and the PAC tag system that we've implemented to it. Another question: do you have an idea how else we could expand the audience of yanDNA users? You could launch a cloud service for storing videos from surveillance cameras based on yanDNA. I think such a service would be useful for those people and businesses who value their privacy. For a more effective implementation of this service, we can contact the manufacturers of video surveillance equipment and clarify the details of cooperation. I mean, you're definitely onto something, and it just goes to show, like, IPFS it can be utilized in many different ways. It's hard for us to target one specific use case or like one specific, hey, let's go provide a product for video surveillance. That is a conversation we've had actually with different individuals when we had our trip out to California, one of the trips out there for a business discussion with some potential partners, etc. We had the conversation of using IPFS to be that data storage in relevance to police cameras. The person, I mean, we can't say too many things, but the people that we are talking to are actually specific for another country, because they were trying to transition over to, body cams for their police officers or security, blah, blah, blah. So we had those discussions with them. Obviously, nothing has like fruition directly towards that as a product, but that's why we focus on IPFS as an overall data storage. That's why us as a private company can go showcase the abilities to different industries, different use cases like you just mentioned. One of your questions is how could we expand the audience of yanDNA users? We are specifically targeting industries that we feel have a lot of value. I've mentioned it many times, the gaming industry, being able to be part of something like that, or to showcase a product where people can store their files, store their uploads before they upload them, just be more in control of their content before it actually gets put onto a platform like Google which is owned by YouTube. YouTube owned by Google. Things like that. There are a lot of content creators that rely on editing their content or sending it to an editor before they put it live. And that goes for not just the gaming industry, but really any social media. That's obviously grown significantly. You see the birth of different social media apps becoming super popular. Not sure on my front how much the pandemic has grown that industry. In my opinion, I really do think it has impacted it because a lot of people are at home interacting on the internet a lot more. Definitely in the gaming industry, you see that. So we're really trying to incorporate a lot of different things that we can do in our private discussions with businesses. And as we close on some of those, discovery phases with these different partners, we'll be able to announce those things publicly if it's relevant. But that's our goals. That's why IPFS has become a staple for what we can provide moving forward, is because it really can plug and play into a lot of different use cases. Yes, I did. Thank you, Koen. I did touch on it. Changing your Twitter handle makes you lose your verification. So, that's just one of the cards we've been dealt. Bullets to bite. It's not that huge of a deal. It's just a communication platform. Most people do know that PAC is PAC. So Yan's question reply to could you be more detailed on the process of minting an NFT? I will read it out loud. The question came from Caleb as well, so thank you. Yan's reply says NFTs are minted and running in PAC Protocol blockchain only. It has some similarities of ERC 721, except we also have checksum stored into the blockchain, which allows to identify the file belonging to that specific NFT. Checksum is basically a fingerprint of the file itself. Each file has its own fingerprint, and duplicate file has the same fingerprint. So that was just more details. Again, it's really hard to go completely dive deep on these things. That's why I always mention that when full documentation or when our update is ready, full documentation will come along with it for people to have answers to questions like this. And then we'll all have the basic sheet guideline for us to know that everyone is able to read. And any more questions that come from that are going to be super easy for us to just directly target. One question from Mahesh, I'm sorry if I pronounced that wrong. Hello, there's a screenshot about yanDNA circulating since few months, which has so many features and dashboards. Is that how the full product looks? Very similar. Obviously, it's a mock-up of the full product of what it is to be. Not all of the features are included into yanDNA at this current point because it's in beta, but more or less, the screenshots that we've seen, the designs, the color schemes, the different features, abilities, it will eventually be all included in there, if not, and probably more, because as more time goes on, we do come up with different ideas and different features get brought up here too that we might not be thinking of. So you guys definitely do have a play in being able to give us ideas, and if we can implement them, maybe not right away, but it will be logged down as something to look into. TK, Pat is partnered with Ripple. Exactly how does this particular partnership work? Does it have XRP Incorporated? No, not directly. So basically what we did is we had a conversation with specific individuals, decided to run a full XRP validator, also on top of a PAC Masternode. The idea behind that, and we touched on it in past seminars, is if we can include different blockchains capabilities of deploying full nodes and making it just as easy as it is already for PAC, that goes a long ways as far as just being able to put our product in other people's hands, and it's not correlated to just PAC. Having the PACapp where you have, the name tag system very similar to different. Well, we based it very similarly off of the Cash App, kind of like how it's easier to send to someone knowing their actual, tag name instead of a long 30-character address. We really like that kind of build. So we use that as a base and obviously came up with our own UI for it. But that's, the point I'm trying to get to here without talking too much is if you have multi-currency support on that to where you're not only just saying it's for PAC specific, but you are now showcasing, your products, the abilities, the usability, how easy it is, user-friendly. regardless or not, if someone is using it to store XRP, knowing that this product came from the PAC brand gets a lot more attention, regardless. Just people that are using it, maybe not for PAC, but if they're using it for XRP, if they're using it for other other currencies that eventually get supported by the PACapp in due time, it's just a good opportunity. Christian's question: what is and what was the red yanSAFE icon, which someone, I thought Koen, teased us with on his Twitter? What other app are you building? That's Yan's reply to that, Christian. It wasn't yanSAFE. That's actually the testnet mode of what we've been working on currently. Yeah, maybe just if you guys can be a little more helpful when you're asking your questions, just so that we can grasp exactly what you're asking, or maybe get more detail, so that we know, like we just kind of covered like 5 different topics. So if a question doesn't really have a specific, like what you're talking about, it's hard to know. Will you be able to use PAC tags to send money in yanSAFE wallet, to send cryptocurrency transactions? Yes, it's something that will be added in due time. We want to have that changeability, like PACapp, yanSAFE, same accounts, you can link them. Like those are all planned on. That will be something that we get to. Just trying to catch up. Is Yan token already integrated into the testnet? That question was from Mahesh. Yes, Yan token is already in testnet network, but not in our current version 17.0.4 build. It also requires a node, also in testnet mode, to be connected in order to mint CES transfer tokens. And Yan has elaborated a little bit on that. Testnet, what he means by that is an alternative blockchain. It's used for debugging, the developers that are involved on it, to find bugs, doing experiments to try and break it, I guess. Like, not break it, but that's kind of the term I use, like try and break it so that we can make sure, it's fixable, or that it's not going to happen in mainnet. It's a private testnet. It's not something that anyone is connected to. You have to have the specific node to connect to be in testnet. But essentially, it's like, what happens in testnet should be able to transfer it over to mainnet production. But there is, experimenting with it to make sure when it transfers to a large network status of like the mainnet, we're at over 22,000, innate registered masternodes on the blockchain. It's very different than a testnet that has not nearly as many. So that's why we have to do our due diligence in that testnet environment to make sure the bugs that we do find are taken care of. Yep, and thank you, Yan, for replying to that. I will just repeat it. The question in reference was, will you be able to use PAC tags to send in the yanSAFE wallet? Currently not, but absolutely something in our mind, and we will have further information specifically for that. Not only that, but all the other features that we're talking about, like multi-currency support, etc. Those are things that Yan will be directly, involved in announcing that and releasing those features when he's available to get those and the testing is accomplished. So it takes time. And that's why I say, like, I'm not going to announce those things live here. We have to just schedule and coordinate all our announcements professionally. Their CEO does AMA with the project with their followers. Shall we consider having one of them? I think that's exactly what we're doing. We've done like 12 of them. This is our 12th one, live seminars, where ask me anything. I mean, any questions that want to be popped up here. If they're not inappropriate or not relevant, then we will absolutely discuss them with you guys. It's exactly what these are for. It's just for us to be available. Yan taking time out of his day to also be present is a huge thing. Huge shout out to you, Yan, for being here. And if I'm understanding what you're saying, like I'm rereading what you just said, I'm not familiar with that community. So if they want to interact with us and have an AMA and then get them involved, absolutely. I'm always down to have more, open discussions with whatever community wants to be a part of it. Dev Forward, do you have any legacy tech companies interested in adding yanDNA as an option for? We can't talk about stuff like that. That's just direct private company to private company business dealings. And if something comes to it that impacts the decentralized network aspect of PAC Protocol, then we will absolutely make sure to get that information to you guys so that you guys are aware of the, that would be, really big news that you guys will want to be a part of. Do we have any companies interested in yanDNA as an option for file storage? 100%. I just can't get into any specifics. Oh, Koen, if you are in the chat, please respond to that message. That is directly for you. The question, Drew, how and where can I order such merch if you are not in the USA? I am in the USA, but this store, this material, everything, Koen has taken complete, he did all this. He's awesome. So if you want to contact him, he's not in the US. So he can directly give you an answer to that. And if you want to order something, that's through him. That's not me. But I do really enjoy all the different things that he's gotten me and sent to me. Oh, I understand, Dev4. Appreciate you being here. Yeah, I mean, I wish if I could talk about every detail of every little thing, I wish I could. But then that just opens up questions of like when this, when that, and not just with us. It would be also um, targeted towards the companies that we're talking to. So that's why that's private until it's completely, we're ready to go on both sides. We're able to handle the influx of questions on both sides. And, there is a reason for data storage being primary focus for us, using IPFS. The comparisons of using IPFS versus what most people do use, at least the ones that we talk to, it's a night and day benefit. It's just a process of getting it implemented for their whatever their industry or service is. Okay, thank you for that, Koen. It is fulfilled in 3 locations. So he's talking about the merch, USA, Europe, and Japan. No roadblocks, Mahesh. I appreciate that question. There's always challenges, of course. I'm not going to say like there's no challenges. That would be silly. But definitely all the ideas and all the features that we want to implement into IPFS, those were not put in or showcased without us knowing that it was possible, and the how-to part as well. So, I mean, the main roadblocks and challenges that I personally and I know our dev team have come up with when it comes with IPFS is plugging it into just the different ways of how it can actually grow. It can grow in a decentralized way, but then that also introduces decentralized risks. If anyone understands what I mean by that, it's just plain and simple. Not one individual can control what another individual is doing as far as like keeping their Masternode server active or the software that they have installed contributing to a PAC level product. So those are different, solutions that always need to be not solved, because you can never solve that solution, but always have like a redundant solution for that. That's where I believe we step in as a private LLC. We have nothing but best interests for PAC Protocol. So any use cases or products that we want to showcase and put forth, we obviously are supporting them ourselves. We support the nodes as well. But yeah, that's why IPFS, I'd say that's one of the main roadblocks of just it expanding, being able to be part of something like that, and understand that once you introduce that decentralized layer, you can't speak for everyone in that decentralized layer. So you have redundancy backups and plans for that. That'll all be explained in our documentation when we go, production live. But that's why we're that's why we're here. That's why we're supporting the network. I see your question, NYC real estate. It doesn't need to be put 3 times. I did see your question. I'm just reading everyone else too. First, Paul, I see yours. Yours is up there first. Is there any update on the nodes that were claimed to be ghost nodes? So again, can't have a node that is, ghost node without the collateral. So there is still the collateral that's being placed and registered as a master node that can't be done by accident. You're not going to get a transaction of 500K with the fee involved to register a master node on accident. So that will, no problem, New York City. I was just letting you know, like, we did see your question. I know the chat sometimes moves fast. But yeah, so we are working around and experimenting and testing with the Koen system so that it fits with our network. Our Koen system was adopted from Dash, being the birth of the Masternode deployment for a blockchain. But the difference is their node network has never surpassed 5,000 nodes, which is not, I'm not saying anything negative towards it. I'm just saying their quorum system is built to work with that amount of a network. Ours is significantly higher, 22,000 plus registered masternodes. So the quorum system has to be tweaked so that it works properly, so that the scoring works properly, meaning the penalty system. And that way, the network is as healthy as it's supposed to be. I do, yep, definitely I agree with you. Great potential for overall use case of this. File transfer has always been a pain, progressively gotten better over the years. But if you've ever worked in government, yeah, no, I agree. I agree with what you're saying there. That's actually one of the main, when we sat down with a couple different companies and just showcase, the upload and transferability, and the fact that it's an encrypted file, like no one is going to be able to access that or even look at it without you setting a shareable link or having access to your account. Not even us. We don't have the encryption for it. So that's something that was really cool to be able to showcase. Like, in the event someone goes to a doctor, has surgery, they need to get their surgery done by another doctor. So they have to take a file of their x-rays or whatever data that they need to show the next doctor. It's never going to be transferred via email, like doctor to doctor. And they don't do that. I mean, I guess I shouldn't say they don't. Majority don't. They might use like an encrypted service, but it's not really expressed in that industry because it's starts hinting towards doctor-patient confidentiality rules, and then also things get hacked. It just happens all the time. So that's why most of the time you're taking a physical hard drive or a CD or physical paperback of your file to the next surgeon or whatever you got going on. That's how ancient transferring files or your data in the medical industry still is. So that's one. Also look at the the movie industry, Hollywood industry, being able to send large files, part of movie production or series production, to in between different production teams, maybe across the ocean, different countries that are involved. It's the same thing. They don't do it over the internet, and if it is, as you've seen, things get hacked. The most recent one, the number one movie now in the world as far as box office, whatever, Spider-Man, their trailers were like pictures and things were getting leaked because why? The data is being held somewhere and someone got access to it when they shouldn't have. That happens all the time. So that's another way that we try to educate about IPFS. There's no limit on your file size. It gets broken up, it's encrypted by your password, we don't have access to it, and then you can now send it to exactly where you want to in a very secure setting versus what it was before. So we we feel like we agree, Def4, like great overall use case for so many different industries. And then we're not only focusing on those things, but we're introducing like personal usage as well. Like, it's not just going to be for business or industry usage. Like the personal usage of being able to store your NFT, your files, or just store a file. And not everything has to be an NFT, but you'll have both abilities within the same product, within the same chain. I feel like there's a lot of just value there as far as use case, how I would use it, how I know people will use it, or how I expect them to. Either way, being able to have verification of your content on the internet with your own specific hash, your own choice to store it in a decentralized or distributed data storage offering using IPFS. It's all choice. That's what we're trying to do, is build the opportunities, make it easy for people, but at the end of the day, it's still choice. No, there has been no attempts to contact Elon Musk. Not that I wouldn't, it's just that I'll be honest, we're not ready for that. We're not ready for that. But that would be really cool. I guess I shouldn't say we're not ready for it. It's just, we don't have the bandwidth to be attempting to contact companies like that while also, we're in the middle of building a very important stage of this. So, not saying never, but, we'll see what the sun shines on tomorrow. Yeah, faxing is the secure method still, and how long has that been around? Of course, Mahesh, there should not be any panic or concern or any wonderment of if a product by us is going to be completed. We stick to what we do. And the only reasons things take longer than what we may anticipate or broadcast in a roadmap is because everything that we do is innovative. Everything is, we try and stick to what we can do, by a certain time. But if something, gets added or we come up with other features or we need more testing, it does happen. And you have to understand, us as a company, like we don't do every, like I can't speak for about every little thing about everything that our team's doing every day, and then also be able to tie that all together and release products and release branding for it if the product itself is not ready for it. That just comes in our testing phases. That's why when we're at that 90% completion rate for the YAN token layer, that last 10%, it's not the longest push, but it's the most important push. And so we want to make sure that we're giving it the time it deserves. Oh, thank you, Dufour. I can pass that information on. I know that they have their own timeline, their own, thing. I'm not involved with like what their roadmap and their, what they're doing, other than the fact that, IPFS technology that is used for the data storage, that's our backend. There's other, implementations that they have to do for a legal standpoint. That's not us though. So I can pass that information on though. And I guess people can just be just paying attention to the fact, we're not just building products and just hoping that they'll be successful, just releasing them for free and then just hoping that they'll be successful. Like we are doing that. We have done that. PACapp, yanSAFE, yanDNA, those are all free to download, free to use. But we're also, like I mentioned, targeting specific industries and private companies, having discussions with them, showing them that we could build the back end for their needs. Those have been successful. And when we're finally able to showcase that stuff, I'm, excited for it. But when we're able to showcase that stuff and announce it, I think everyone will start to like, have the fill in the dots, have everything click that, okay, PAC Protocol isn't just building IPFS products for decentralized usage and decentralized support, but it's also a development company that could provide back-end solutions using blockchain technology for other companies, for other projects, for other, not just blockchain related. You have to open your mind past that. So when we mention we're introducing ourselves to different companies in different industries, it's for that reason, so that we can generate, interest into blockchain technology, show them and educate them how it benefits them, and then also in, vice versa, tying in PAC protocol to these potential use cases on their end. So we're working hard, and I'm really excited about this year. I understand some things have taken a little bit longer, and I get frustrated too that I can't speak about everything at the time that I want to, but just know that it ain't ever stopping, Mahesh, and we are never going to just put our feet up and say that we think everything is as good as it should be. We always want to make things better, and that's just not going to change. Oh, how far along is Yan from not beta to be rolled out fully, I believe is a question. Yep. And the reply is that the same as before. We're all pushing for it to be released. We're excited for it, but it needs to be done right. So we just need to make sure that all the features and functionalities, they're all improved until we're satisfied for our release. Can it be in 2022? Oh, I can speak for Yan. It's 100% in 2022. That's not an option. yanDNA will be released as soon as we can, but I'm not at any concern it won't be in 2022. Yeah, it's a really good idea. It's, being able to upload your pictures from your smartphone directly into yanDNA is, I mean, I can do that because I have it. You can just put the website as a front screen, and then it just opens up directly. But yeah, yanDNA will be available as an app at some point, so that it's just download, install, put your photos on your phone, and then, oh, I can log into my same account on my PC. Now my photos that I put on my account from my phone are also available via my PC or another, tablet, internet device, etc., and vice versa. It would be also really cool. I know it's a feature you've talked about, to automatically, like when you take a picture and it says, or I don't know if that's the right example. Well, for instance, for a PC, a lot of people use OneDrive or Google Dropbox, and it's automatically done. So like when you save a file, it there's options. You can save it PC and Dropbox, for backup, or some people choose only save to PC, and other people choose only save to this third-party data storage provider like Dropbox or OneDrive. So that would be a really cool feature, in my opinion, to have added to yanDNA for not only PC, but smartphones at some point in the future, to where it can be a setting to where if I download a file, it'll automatically go to yanDNA. But then there's other things that will have to be implemented to make sure that it's working properly, because you'll have to have your own allocation of yan if you're wanting control of your information. There could be other ways as well where it's subscription based, blah, 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 but we're just not at that point. Can you lock yanSAFE with a password? Absolutely. You can encrypt your wallet with your own password, and then, I mean, obviously, I would recommend you writing that password down or storing it in a separate location in the event you forget or just whatever. But absolutely, just go into settings and you'll be able to see the opportunity there. Are you partnered up with Flare? Yes, we are. Additionally, with Flare Finance, for there to be a dedicated amount of PAC wrapped for their ecosystem available to you guys. I've sent 100 million PAC to that for that reason, to become a Y asset. And additionally, with Flare, we are running a full validator to contribute to the voting mechanism for that network. So maybe we'll save that for another day, because that gets a little technical, and it has been already talked about in our seminars in the past. But long story short, the availability of people being able to delegate their Flare tokens towards our validator to contribute to the voting that is needed for price selection, price submission on the Flare network for the assets that it supports. We're part of that. We're one of the validators that is to be trusted, and we'll have weight contributed to it by the amount of tokens that gets delegated towards our node. So the more that happens, the more delegation pool, I guess you could say, or voting power you have, and everyone involved would then receive their return on the reward from those voting correctly, or the validator being selected with correct price submissions. So if you own 1% of the voting pool, you would receive, let's just say, argument's sake, 1% of the reward. MTC, you need to probably, can you rephrase that question? I literally have no idea what you just asked. I think it's probably a typo or something, or I'm not reading it right, but I have no idea what you just asked. So please just rephrase it or see if there was a typo. No exchanges. I mean, no challenges, Mahesh, in my opinion. I wouldn't consider them challenges to get yan token listed on all the current exchanges. PAC is already, because it should be is backward compatible, or it's compatible because they're already having PAC listed. So as they update PAC protocol network with the update that we push, they will have the network settings to already accept yan. But that would have to be a different discussion with each individual exchange. They may require a certain fee, them working fee for deploying a new wallet. Everyone has their own fees, so we just got to play ball with each one individually, but I don't see any roadblocks for us doing that. Okay, now I know what you mean. So you meant the animation background in yanSAFE. Yan says the trick is to just keep your mouse still for a very long time, and then you'll catch all circles in your mouse. Okay, we are at the 45-minute mark. I'd like to see if there's any final questions. Oh yeah, and I'll let you actually target that last question right there. We'll have that our last question, because I'm sure Yan has a pretty good. He has a good reply for that. I've just been holding back on certain development stuff because with Yan available here, I don't have to go back and forth and make sure what I say is current. So Yan, if you want to give your reply to how much of the new website is already completed, we just discussed this on our next phases for the website, targeted dates for that, and then also the next phase for that for completion. A lot of it has to do with design and then just having it implemented. So Yan, if you can give a comment on our progress on our new website, I would appreciate it. We've done our market and SEO analysis, initial homepage wireframes and copy exploration. We have further wireframes and further exploration, finishing designs and finishing copywriting, and our final round of improvement/changes. This is what we were discussing yesterday for our website, what phase we're on. Yan just said in the chat, currently we're getting soon our new design, which is only a mock-up as of now, and mock-up, making sure that the design is what we want to represent PAC. And if we're satisfied, we'll start with the development phase, actually producing it. So we've got our own team for that. Like I mentioned, different developers. We've been expanding our team. That goes not just on the blockchain side, but the creative design side, which is including website work, and also is needed for our NFT launch with this update, because we plan on doing a lot of cool things with NFTs and being able to, provide the community members with NFTs that we design, possible airdrops, possible things like that. Got some cool plans. So hopefully everyone just keeps paying attention to our updates and the situations that come up. We appreciate Yan being here. I will try and get him back not too far from now. But we do have a busy week ahead of us to make sure that we can button up that last 10% in testnet and Yan proof all the bugs. So again, appreciate you guys being here. If you guys have any other questions, we'll be here on Wednesday, or I will be at least 3 Eastern time, bearing any setbacks. But we should be good to go on Wednesday at 3 o'clock Eastern time. And if Yan is available to join, maybe he'll be there. But if not, again, we appreciate you having you here, Yan. And everyone else, have a good rest of your day, and we'll see you soon, okay?